Welcome back to all our listeners. It is time for another installment of Fit Nation's Lunch and Learn. Today, we're going to be talking about making the gym fun for those who maybe need some extra encouragement or just like to have fun, and also how to boost your NPS score. So to help us understand this the best as possible, we're teaming up with Teri Bissonnette. She's a successful franchisee under the Anytime Fitness brand. And honestly, she's done a great job at combining her extensive background in marketing and her love of health and wellness in order to run a really successful branch in her hometown in Minnesota with her husband. And today we're going to focus on what your NPS score and why it matters more than ever. Out of the box and fun ways to engage with your member base and connecting with members' intrinsic motivators in order to help them reach their larger health and wellness goals. So I think anyone listening into this, whether you're a single location, a studio, all the way up to the gym chain scale, there should be value that you can take away from today, because engaging with members, it's important no matter where you sit in our industry. It's really the lifeblood of what we do. So without further ado, Teri, thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, always the good starting point of any podcast these days. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how long you've been in the fitness industry.
Sure. Well, fitness was not my original industry of choice. I have no background in fitness initially. The first time I didn't play any sports in school. I wasn't athletic. First time I joined a gym, I was actually 23 years old, and it was simply because I was going to go up a clothing size, and I refused to do that. So, working out was actually kind of a chore for me. It was something that I kind of didn't look forward to. The club I went to, nobody knew my name. It was just, something I did. And honestly, I wasn't getting the results that I wanted, but I just felt like it was me. I was the failure. Like I wasn't working out enough, or, I needed to eat less and work out more. I didn't really have any guidance. So when we did open our club, that's something I really wanted to change. I wanted to make people feel comfortable and also just really help them get their goals. So, but my background, I grew up around Washington, D.C., and we were literally about a 15-minute drive from NSA. So when I say that most of my neighbors were spies, I'm actually not exaggerating. So politics was really in my blood. My father worked in the Pentagon. My mother was an elected official in the Maryland House of Delegates. So it was sort of a natural course that I studied international relations. And I spent a year in Paris studying and working. So my initial goal was, to work for the State Department. But after living in Paris for a year, the idea of being stationed in some remote embassy and probably being the low man on the totem pole in some really places I didn't want to be, and the fact that they move you around every 2 years, it just didn't appeal to me anymore. So when I graduated, I moved to New York, and my sister had some experience in advertising, and that sounded really, really good to me. So I was lucky enough to get a job at Young and Rubicam, which is, an international ad agency, a really well-known one, and in a department in the research department, which I found really interesting, and that's where my love of brands came about. So we studied brands, we studied consumer impressions and their likes and dislikes, and how they were drawn to different particular brands. And that served me well later on when I opened the gym, when my husband and I opened our gym. And from there, I moved to Los Angeles, and I got a job with Playboy, another well-known brand. And that was a great time in my life. It was a lot of fun. I was one of the directors of marketing in the entertainment group. And Playboy has such a great, rich history and story, and they are a really well curated brand, and it's something that they really maintain and value. So I got into fitness. Actually, I kind of married into fitness because my husband had quite the different experience than I did. When he was 12, he started lifting weights. And by the time he was 14, he was actually sitting at the kitchen table with his mom, laying out the design for the gym that he was going to open one day.
Wow.
So it was his passion. Mm-hmm. And he went to college and got a master's degree in exercise physiology. He became a trainer. Then he opened a personal training studio. There are a couple of things in between. Then he found Anytime Fitness. Excellent. There's actually kind of a story there too. He had closed his personal training studio and moved to Portland, where he was helping a woman open a women's only gym. She had no experience in the industry, which is why she hired him to be the fitness director. And she was running out of money, so she didn't have a marketing budget. So he suggested that they hire a company that would come in and take care of everything for them. And he called this 800 number. So he had no idea where he was calling. And he's in Portland. So the guy on the phone is kind of like, well, what's your background? And so Jeff says, well, I had a personal training studio in Minnesota. And the guy goes, where? And he goes, Stillwater. And the guy goes, oh, biodynamics, and it's like the name of the company that he had. So it turns out that's Chuck Runyon was on the phone, the CEO and co-founder of Anytime Fitness. So from that, Jeff was like, this is it. Yeah. I'm leaving Portland, packing up, and opening my own gym.
Awesome. And so how long have you guys been running your branch now?
It will be 17 years in January.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's been a fun ride.
It has. It's been a great experience. And I started working in the gym because we got open in a small town and there really weren't that many job opportunities. And so I was like, well, let me try this out. And I loved it.
Perfect. Okay.
So I started, just running the operations, sort of managing the gym. And then Jeff encouraged me to get my personal training certification. And then I got a second certification as a health coach, more focused on nutrition. Okay. And that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. So almost it sounds like a little bit of the reverse route as a lot of people would take, where they get all their certifications and it leads them into running their own business. You were kind of thrown into the fire and then realized you liked it and leveled up accordingly. Cool. All right. Nice. Well, one of the things we wanted to talk about today was NPS score, and you guys do really good at your NPS score, and it's one of your, sounds like a North Star metric for your guys' business. It's one thing that you really focus on a lot. Now, maybe not everyone listening here knows the ins and outs of the NPS score, so we could just run through those briefly so they can get their bearings on why that's going to be important. So what is an NPS score? Maybe you could tell our listeners a little bit about that.
Sure. The Net Promoter Score. So if you're not measuring it now, you can go through any number of companies that can do it for you. So initially, right now we're using Medallia, and that's through Anytime Fitness Corporate. Mm-hmm. So they send out a survey to members in some random fashion that says, well, the current survey says, overall, how was your latest experience with Anytime Fitness Lake City? Mm-hmm. Based on a scale of 0 to 10. So ultimately, you can actually have a score of anywhere from negative 100 to positive 100. And our NPS score right now is 97.
Nice.
Which is, yes.
Cream of the crop.
So they consider over 50 to be excellent and over 75 to be world class. So it's up there. And so, you get that initial score. That's my cat. Sorry.
It's okay.
That score, it's really 0 to 6 is considered, a distractor. Mm-hmm. And 7 and 8 is considered passive, and 9 to 10 is considered a promoter. So a promoter is somebody who's going to talk about your business, is going to recommend your business to their friends or family. So having, that 9 and 10 is what you're shooting for. And one thing we do that, you never want to incentivize members to give you a good score. But we do put up a poster in the club that's super simple that just says, that explains that you may get this survey. It's not spam.
Yeah.
And we would love for you to respond. And then we have this, we just draw this out 0 to 6, and we have an emoji that's an unhappy face, and then, and then 7 to 8, we have an emoji that has just, no mouth, just, and then, 9, 10, we have the super happy smiling emoji. And, it's simple. It's not, it's educating the members, but it's not, like I said, incentivizing them.
Yeah. Well, I think too that awareness element is probably so key, because as you
Yes.
say, like, hey, people probably think that and say, okay, it's spam. I'm probably on their mailing list somehow, whatever, next. And so if they can see that you guys actually made an effort, whether or not that they stop and look at that sign on their way out,
right,
they probably noticed it and just say, oh, okay, yeah, let's connect the dots. Hey, I actually really love what they're doing there. Boom, let's give our feedback. Awesome.
And you can't control some of the negative responses. We had somebody give us a 5, and in their comments, they said, we really, really wish they'd get a pool. Okay, well, we can't have a pool. It's not a possibility. Yeah, I wish we had a pool, like a rooftop pool, with cocktails. No, it's not going to happen. So anyway, we talked to the member because they do encourage you to respond to every survey. Whether it's positive or negative, just thank the member. If there's any concerns, address them, and do it as quickly as possible too. Yeah. So, we got back to him and just said, hey, I know we would love to have a pool, but it's not possible for us. Well, about a year later, he gets another survey. He gives us a 10. And in the comments, he says, still wish they had a pool. So that's fine.
We still wish we had a pool too. Yeah.
We got another survey, which he gave us a 0.
Okay.
That hurts. That really drags down your score. But, we reached out to the member, and, he said in his comments that he wishes that we would defy the governor's lockdown order. Well, we said, of course, we can't do that. We would be fined. It would be reckless. We could possibly go to jail. That's part of the deal. We're not going to do that, So the next survey, sure enough, he gave us a 10 and no comments. So yeah, you just got to reach out. That's not going to be a perfect thing.
No, yeah. And I think too, first of all, you could look at your favorite restaurant and it might have some negative reviews. People weren't happy with it, right? Like if it was all positive reviews, I think I've actually even seen studies on this where if you go to download an app, if you look at a review online, and it's 1,000 5-star reviews, it's almost like, well, that can't be right. That's almost too good. Huh?
Right.
So, but on the other hand, if, I think one thing that's really positive and powerful that companies do, and if I see this happening and I see a real person responding to reviews, it gives you a good indication of what that company is like to work with or to be a customer of. If you have some sort of review where you wish something was better and they give you a personalized response that doesn't say, hi, thank you for your feedback. Please send other inquiries to support@company.com. It's like, well, you copy pasted that. So do you really care, or do you just want to look like you care? Yeah.
Address the concerns. And I always read the comments if I'm ordering something on Amazon. Yeah. And when I see the reply from the company, if it's sort of a negative review and it's a really positive reply and they refunded the product or whatever it is, yeah, that makes a difference.
It resonates. It really does. Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about what the good score looks like and what a not so good score looks like. If someone's in the negatives, it sounds like there's some definite work to be done. I didn't know that you could have up to a negative 100. I don't know. I hope there's not too many people out there with a negative 100.
No.
There's some root causes that need to be addressed much farther beyond that, if so. But and I think you've done a good understanding of like why someone should use this as a benchmark, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. What other metrics do you guys think spin off from the NPS score that you really like to focus on as a business?
Sure. I think that the number one metric that we look at besides NPS is usage. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it gets enough discussion, in the industry. But, it's kind of obvious that if you have a high usage, those members are going to stay members. So we really kind of, again, we communicate it to our members. We tell them that we have this goal for them. And it's kind of a lofty goal. It's 12 times a month. So, we could say 10, twice a week, it's doable. But we give them that 12 times a month as a goal. And what we do is we actually print up a list, which we post on the wall at the club. And it is amazing. I didn't know this would happen, but people actually flock to it every month. And if it's not up by the first, they're like, hey, where's the list?
There's the leaderboard. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I've seen in other gyms, they would post the top 10 user list. But the thing about that is that it's the same people every month, right? It's the people that are maybe retired that can come more often. The people who don't have young kids at home or whatever. And the other thing is those lists frequently, it's like they're there 30 times or 31 times or 29 times. And it's like, that's not realistic. I mean, if I were at that gym, I would never make the leaderboard. So I would never look at it. Mm-hmm. But 12 times, yeah, it's doable, and our lists are really, really long. We have like up to, 190 people at a time on the list.
Wow.
It's really extensive.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I'm not so good at math, but I'm trying to calculate what 190 times 12 is, and that's individual visits from those set members. That's awesome.
Well, that's the number of members that come 12 times or more.
Yeah. Oh, or more even. Yeah.
Or more. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah. They could be there every day.
Yeah. So at the end of the year, and we started this in 2012, we put up a list of the people who made it 144 times over the course of the year. And we started printing up t-shirts, and my husband designs them, and they're different every year and a different color purposefully. So we have to start repeating, but, so that it's kind of a badge of honor. So you come to the club with your shirt, and hopefully they're wearing them, elsewhere. And we do see them turn up, in Facebook posts and everything. So you get that, and it's a free t-shirt for them. And people they check on their usage throughout the year. They're like, what am I at? Am I going to make it? And it's really a great deal, because you see that, it's that pride, that they made it, that accomplishment. We even had one lady who posted, on her Facebook feed that, she made the list this year, and she was pregnant for most of the year. So she's super proud of herself, and that's the kind of publicity you don't buy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the kind of thing too, that if they're posting that, we've talked about this in our conversation prior to sitting down, that it's not just about that 6-month transformation photo where they were unhappy, and then all of a sudden 6 months later they're tanned and got a 6-pack and bright shiny place. Like these are the members that, as you say, when she was pregnant, like she was going through something that people will probably say, okay, I'm not going to join the gym as much because of this, but they can show them this is possible, and this is how this gym can support me in doing that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. And you mentioned something along the lines too in our pre-call. You have a really, really good your lifetime customer? How long they stay at the clubs? Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah. That's 53 months is our average length of membership.
Wow. It was multiple years.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when you guys, if you take a step back and you think about how you can, what are some of the factors in chalking that up? What would you guys say to that?
I would say that, we offer a great deal of help. And I think that's something that's missing. I know when I was a gym member, I just, and literally going there, just nobody knowing me, nobody really cared about my goals. I could have had a personal trainer, and that definitely would have helped. But one thing that we did is we set up our office, and my husband designed it specifically this way to have 3 open sides. So if you can picture this, instead of having windows with glass, we have shutters.
Mhm.
So literally, like when we pack up the office at night, we put up these boards to lock up the office. But the rest of the time, we've got one window that's facing the front door, one facing the cardio, one facing the strength equipment. So, and people can come up to the office and chat with us and just talk to us. And we can also see out. So if we see a member wandering around, not sure how to use something, we go out, or if their form is bad, we'll go out and we'll help them, and that's something that I think, not everybody is trained to do. And I hear this from our members, when I used to go to this other club, they wouldn't answer any of my questions. They would say, you have to sign up for personal training. And it's like, I just had some simple questions. I just needed a little bit of help. And they didn't get that. So it's really build trust when you make yourself available and you help people. One thing we do is we actually customize a workout for everyone that comes through the door. And we don't charge for that.
Mhm.
So we get them set up on a path. And it's not just, your like little card that goes in a drawer somewhere, it's really customized for them.
Okay.
And we walk them through that. It's a difficult to describe, but I think it has helped with our retention enormously, because we do personalize things. We also help them with nutrition. There's a lot of things that we offer that's included in the membership that you don't find other places.
Okay. Awesome. So it's about that like bundling of value and services that they just really aren't finding other places. Helps that alongside some of the more unique ways that you guys engage with them and that really community feel that you guys have going. These are kind of all these positive forces working for you guys. Yeah.
Yes.
Great. And so maybe we can use that to transition to the next part of our conversation, making the gym fun for members, because not everyone who's walking in thinks it's going to be fun. Some people they think they have to go to the gym as almost like a formality to look or feel the way they want to. They didn't think it could be fun. So maybe you can highlight some of the more unique ways that you guys engage with your members. We've already talked about some of them with the leaderboards and so, but I'd be really curious for you guys to share some of your findings, best use cases, everything else here.
Sure. Well, one of the things we do is a monthly contest, and I think we got the idea just at another club. They were doing like a plank contest, and just write your time up on the mirror. They had some erasable pens, and I thought how simple and and what a good idea it was. And from that, we started with the simple ones like planks and wall sits and, push-ups, all that. And then we got really creative with it. And we started to do some things like a car push in the parking lot, an obstacle course out on the lawn. We actually had we do a marshmallow sledgehammer drive. So like a golf swing for distance, just like a weighted hula hoop contest. So, and we just give out $25 in gym bucks, so they could use at the gym, to the man and the woman who are the winners for the month. And it really took off into like a club culture kind of thing, because we get people that you wouldn't think would, be competitive. And we get different people doing it. And the key is to really get out into the gym floor and encourage people to try it, because I think that, people are really not expecting that, they're like, oh, me, do you really think I could do that? Especially pushing a car. I mean, you should see the faces of some people that, you drag out there and you're like, it's not that bad. Just try it. Just get down deep and push, and that feeling, when they do that they're going out there and they're telling all their friends and their family, look what I did today at the gym, So we really love that. That's just one thing. And, don't be afraid to get really silly with things too. Like, I wasn't sure this would work, but an Anytime Fitness Club in the UK did an Easter egg hunt. Well, it's kind of silly, right? But I did that. I took these 3 plastic colored eggs and I hid them around the gym, and then we just kind of would put up a post on Facebook that just said, find all 3 eggs and you get entered to win. And it was a t-shirt. It's nothing, just enter to win a t-shirt. So, and we told people not to pick them up, just tell a staff member where they are. Cause that's the first thing they did is try to grab them and bring them to us. But we had members wandering around the gym, like trying to find those eggs, and it was driving them crazy. And it was entertaining for the staff too. So that's become an annual thing for us. And it's just one of those things. Some of those members that you maybe never would have talked to otherwise, they're like coming up to the desk, like, can I get a hint? Can you help? It's driving me crazy. So don't be afraid to try new things. It may not work, you move on to the next thing, or it becomes an annual thing.
Yeah. Nice. And would you say you have any sort of like, maybe some happy customer story or example from some of these events that you put on and you saw like a really cool result from one of your members that was directly tied to that maybe you share with your other members who are a little apprehensive or something like that?
Oh, there's really so many things that can come from this. One of the things that we just did our 3rd annual Day of the Deadlifts. So my husband designs the shirts, and they're pretty awesome looking because you've got so much great imagery from Day of the Dead, which is, started in Mexico, sort of a holiday to celebrate, connect the living with the dead is the way they describe it. So, now a deadlift is something that, it's the most awesome exercise there is, I think. But it's one that a lot of people won't try because it's, one of those things the guys in the back of the gym do at other clubs, not at our club. We get women at all ages back in the free weight area. So that was a challenge at first to get people to do it. And the way we do it is we just have on those 2 days, we have everyone lift, and whatever their best lift is, we add that total to our score. And then we print that on the back of t-shirts and hoodies. And then it's another club within the club. We got a 144 club, we got a deadlifts club. We have a powerlifting club. We have a whole bunch of stuff going on. And getting those people to try a deadlift, it makes them feel empowered, really strong. It's like, I did that. I was part of this group. And when we also print up a big poster that we put up at the club with everyone's names and the total lifted, but not how much each individual lifted, because that is irrelevant.
Yeah. It's the organization. Yeah.
Yes. We have people lifting just the bar. And we have people lifting over 500 pounds. It's like you're all part of this group.
Awesome.
And then working that in, working up to that, we do, we show people deadlifts, we write deadlifts into their workouts, people who would have never considered it before. We have a physical therapy group that we partner with, and we've been working with them for about 9 years. And so they're in the club, with patients, and we have a great relationship with them. And they do a clinic too about, form on deadlifts all around those 2 days.
Awesome. So just introducing them to new activities and things like that is it's also a great way to just get them, more focused on different parts of their health and wellness. Not everyone would see themselves as a deadlifter, but if they realize it's not because they're trying to be in the Olympics and grunt really loudly, they realize that there's other benefits. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. I saw a client of ours in the UK. We saw a promotion they were doing. So I have a background in track and field, so this one really spoke to me. And the product director for this company at a franchise chain, also based in the UK, and she, as well as a really successful hurdler in her time. And so they're doing like a team, like the track and field team of the UK. A few of their members are coming to visit the clubs, and they're going to do some hurdle with a team British hurdler kind of event. And also they're encouraging them to bring their kids to introduce them to different sports and activities. And I think to me, that was just such a good way to do something different, get the community involved, get other members of your family involved or maybe interested in something else, and then just do something out of the box, right? So I think it's always really cool to see companies like yourself and also this company Accelerate doing these kind of things too.
Yes, you do need to get out of your gym and to connect with the community.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy to find the right way to do it. One thing that we did is we're great supporters of our local Humane Society.
Mm-hmm.
So we started a 5K9. And this is, again, it's not an original idea. I heard about it somewhere and I'm like, yes, we have to do this. So a 5K with your dog.
Yeah.
And we just had our 4th annual. And it's a great race and it gets people, not just members, but it gets other people, doing it and bringing their families, and people like to hang out before the race with their dogs and just chat. And it's been a great fundraiser, but also, we just kind of threw a little twist in. Last year we did a dog show, like just a sort of a funny dog show with, best tail wagger and goodest girl and best trick.
We just came up. Let me know what day this is, and I'm flying to Minnesota to join.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Just have fun with these ideas. Yeah. And the dog show, we got the most awesome photos from it and posted on Facebook and Instagram. And then this year, actually, we did a pet lookalike contest. So that was just a lot of fun too. Awesome. And then when we gave out awards for, I think, best hipster, separated at birth, just different categories like that.
Yeah.
Another fundraiser that I did with the Humane Society is a firefighter calendar. So the Humane Society had always done a pet calendar as a fundraiser. And, the famous Australian firefighter calendar out there. Well, I knew that, our version was not going to be that super, shirt off version, but
we never accepted entries either. So
yeah. So what I did is I knew our local firefighters were never going to just step up and say, yeah, I'm going to be in this photo shoot. So I posted on Facebook, a nominate your favorite firefighter, post, and got just a ton of responses. And it was so much fun for a couple of weeks, just going back and forth with that. And then I arranged the photo shoot, we actually got 12 Dalmatian puppies. Just because I posted on there, wouldn't it be fun to have Dalmatian puppies? And a breeder came and, just said, hey, yeah, you can borrow mine.
Yeah.
So we had the guys holding the puppies, lined up in front of a big fire truck for the cover. So it was really a lot of fun. We had one of the firefighters pose, like climbing up a ladder, with a kitten, like rescuing a kitten from the tree, great shots. So things like that, get you, what does it have to do with the gym? Nothing. But, we were known then as, the gym that really cares, and supports local charities.
Exactly. Yeah. So I suppose, gym owners listening in right now, what kind of tips would you give them that they could implement either today, this week, this month for their 2022 plans? Like, what kind of actionable things would you give to anyone listening in right now?
Sure. Well, the first thing I would do is just kind of take a step back and look at your club. What is the culture? What are your values? Who are your members? What are they interested in? There's a lot of questions to ask first, and then you really have to build trust, and have that engagement with your members before you start like going crazy with different things, because you want them to really know who you are, and you have to have that kind of engagement. And engagement is not just staff to member, it's also member to member and also staff to staff. Like, if your members see that your staff is not happy and not, doesn't want to be there, and, then maybe you need to look at who you have, at your front desk and who your trainers are. And trainer burnout is definitely a real thing. I totally get that. Mm-hmm. So if you've got the right things going on there, then it's time to maybe start with some small things. If your club isn't clean, just stop everything and just make sure it's spotless. And, Thomas Plummer said something once that your club is never going to be 100% clean. But if your members see you cleaning, they will perceive your club as clean. And I was like, that has stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because, and Jeff and I, we get out there and we clean, we grab a spray bottle and a microfiber towel, a Swiffer. And it's a great opportunity to get to know your members, and they chat with you and they appreciate it. And, it's valuable time, and get out there when it's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have to be the primary cleaner of your club to do that, to just pick up and do that once in a while. So if you have that really great relationship, then start with the small stuff. Start with that monthly contest. Start with, photo contests are really fun too. Things that are, social media postable, shareable. And we try to use social media just for fun, and we don't post sales. We don't post, things like, sort of canned motivational stuff.
Yeah.
We don't post any stock photos. Our members don't want to see models. They want to see their friends and family in the gym working out, but not stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. And so one of the things that we wanted to talk about too today was how you guys are really doing a good job to connect your members. Like they're real deep motivators to help them reach their larger goals. And it's going beyond just the aesthetic fitness, right? So maybe you could shed a little bit of light about how you have these conversations with your members to talk about their health and fitness goals rather than just looking good in front of the mirror.
Sure. Well, I think when we first started, I was much more by the book. I was much more like, you need to track your food. You need to have your macros be in this certain range. You need to get rid of all the bad behaviors, but over the years, I've realized that after seeing so many members lose weight and look great and feel great, and then go back, just gain that weight back. And, I was just like, there's got to be something different that we can do. And so we really changed things up a little bit in terms of being more mindful, addressing more behavior change, and small steps. And that has been really key. Is you can't change everything overnight. And yeah, a 30-day challenge or a 60-day or 90-day challenge is great, but what happens after that?
Yeah.
Anybody can be good for a certain amount of period of time. But if you don't really learn to change behavior, it's not going to stick.
Yeah.
So we support our members. I've got a lot of members recently that are, doing Noom, and that's a great system. But again, just sort of focusing. And I found a really great book, which is The Game on Diet. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Oh, The Game on Diet. I'm going to write it down.
Yeah. And see, I don't have it in front of me, but see if I can find the author here. Yeah, it's by Krista Vernoff and Az Ferguson. And it's just really fun. The book is like a super easy read, and it's very funny. But it sets out sort of a weight loss plan that is a contest between you and your friends, So we made it for the gym. And just to make things a little more fun, of course, had to. We had people choose avatars. So we had, Betty Boop and Jessica Rabbit. It was a little freaky. Somebody chose Negan from The Walking Dead because because at the end of the contest, we always have a finale party at a restaurant. And so we encourage people to kind of dress as their avatars. And he shows up with the leather jacket and the baseball bat. Luckily, he didn't wrap it in barbed wire, but, it was so that way we could also post the results as the weeks went on, the body fat measurements, like we do a percent decrease, not their actual body fat, and their points. And so, they would get points for eating healthy meals, getting enough sleep, getting enough exercise, drinking enough water. Also, there's a new habit. So you have to declare that at the beginning, some healthy habit that you're going to adopt, and a bad habit that you're going to get rid of. And you get points for each day that you don't do the bad habit or you do the good habit. Yeah. And I really like that way of sort of encouraging positive behavior.
Yeah. No, that sounds like an interesting way to go about it. I'll have to check in a little bit more to that, because it is, always about the small things that start to add up to help you with the big things, right?
Yes, right. Exactly.
Great. All right. Well, we're gonna turn the tables a little bit here and start doing a little bit of like the lightning round wrap-up questions. It's always good to put you on the spot even a little bit more. I think one of the questions we might have already just answered, but I'll ask again. But let's start with what you think some of the best advice you've ever received in industry or out of industry.
Yes. To travel, any opportunity you get, travel. Yeah. And that, I went to Russia when I was 16. My parents took us to Ireland when we were kids. So I already had that travel bug, and just getting outside your little bubble, experiencing how other people live, what's important to them, what their lives are like. I think it gives you a different perspective on life. It really opens up a lot of doors.
100% agree. Yes,
yeah.
100%. Yeah. The other one one of the other ones I would ask you is a book recommendation you have to others. Maybe this is The Game on Diet, or maybe it's another one.
Well, I think for gym owners or managers or trainers that want to check out something different, that is a great book to read. God, there's so many, it's really hard to narrow it down. But if you're looking really to improve your customer experience, I would say anything by John DeJulius. He actually, I don't know, have you heard of him?
No.
He has a chain of really high-end hair salons, spas in Cleveland.
Okay.
And he really takes customer service to a level you can't imagine.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Good insights. It's always good to look outside the industry too, huh? Like
Exactly.
If you go just always inside the fitness industry, you'll see maybe some of the same points popping up again, which doesn't mean they're bad points, but I think our brains as human beings start to almost say, okay, I've seen this one. What's the next one? Right?
Yeah. And he uses case studies from all industries.
Cool. Okay. It's a good one. What would you say is one of the more common problems you see in our industry?
Well, my sister wanted to join a gym, and she actually sent me a plane ticket to go to LA to go with her because she was so intimidated. And I was really kind of horrified going with her we went to like 5 different gyms. I didn't tell anyone that I was a gym owner and a certified trainer. And the way she was treated, it was really disappointing. I just felt like they didn't ask enough questions. It was really the hard sell. Okay. And it was get the sale now, today, all kinds of, high pressure sales. And that's something that I think that the industry has kind of a bad reputation for that.
Yeah, and getting locked into a gym contract that you probably know you won't use all the time, and it's 24 months. Yeah, and it's just
yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, all right. And what would you say in terms of what mentors or people do you look for inspiration, either again in the industry or out?
I would say, well, first off, my husband Jeff has been my mentor through this whole process.
Yeah.
He's awesome. And then Dr. Paul Bedford, who I know you've had on.
Yep.
the retention guru. He is just a great resource in this industry. And then I would have to say, Chuck Runyon and Dave Mortensen, the co-founders of Anytime Fitness, they've taken this brand, which when we signed on for the franchise was only 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And as they've grown it incredibly.
Global presence.
Yes, a global presence, and they're on 7 continents now because they have you heard the story?
Yeah.
Because they have an Anytime Fitness on a cruise ship in Antarctica. So they've done some amazing things. And I think one thing about them is they're actually very accessible, which is something that, considering the size of the brand these days, I've had many conversations with them at conferences, and they're very open to listening. And they do some really, really great things, with charities and encouraging, different owners and in their pursuits. I got to say I'm grateful for them because I got the opportunity to go to the Anytime Fitness conference in Australia in Sydney.
Oh, nice.
I actually won my trip in a raffle. So, kudos.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing, amazing experience. And I went to visit, my husband and I, we went to visit, I think 20 different locations while we were out there. I know it's like, we need to take a vacation and, but I still, when we go on vacation, I love visiting clubs, and I got to throw this out there. We're going to Europe in June of 2022, after canceling our trip twice for obvious reasons.
Yes.
So I would love to visit some clubs in Europe. Anybody give me a shout on LinkedIn if you're open to having us come visit.
Yeah, well, on the flip side, we're based in Amsterdam, so come by our office.
There you go.
We can meet up as well. We'd love to show you around a little bit.
Great.
Yes. All right. And one of the hot seat questions, what action item would you give to someone listening in today to help improve their life, their career, their business, whether or not we discussed it as one of our topics today or not? What kind of advice would you have for anyone listening in?
Well, I think, speaking of the pandemic, I think we all had that chance to kind of slow down. Life kind of almost stopped for some of us that, our clubs were closed, and, we weren't able to go out to restaurants and bars, and it was like, so kind of slow down and stop and just kind of look at what you're doing, what's going right, what's going wrong, what you can improve, and take care of yourself, and, if you're in the fitness industry, I know one thing that I thought is, oh my God, I'm going to have all the time in the world to work out because, I'm going to be in my club 50 hours a week, of course. Yeah. But there are times when, the week goes by and I'm like, what happened? Where, because I've got so many things going on.
Yeah.
So take the time. Don't wait for the time. Make the time to make sure that you're staying healthy, you're getting your workouts in, you're getting your nutrition, take care of yourself. And also that I think we've started to focus more on mental health as well. It's like, working out can be such a great stress relief and get yourself out of your head. So I think that would be it, is just, value your time and make sure you take care of yourself and your friends, your family, and not just focused on your members, but they're important too.
100% agree. 100% agree. Okay. Well, we're going to take you off the hot seat and we're going to try something new that was recommended to us. We actually want to turn the tables a little bit and have you ask me a question. So we want to do this because you've been getting grilled by us for the better part of an hour now. You've shared a lot of good insights, but sometimes it's always good to get some different perspectives. So, Teri, what question would you have for me?
Sure. Well, I noticed on your LinkedIn profile that you did a semester at sea.
Yes.
I was really curious about what that was like.
Yeah. Well, it was a very incredible experience. I think for those who don't know what semester at sea is, when you hear it, you might laugh and say, okay, well, this just sounds like a student booze cruise. But semester at sea, it's a college program where you can board a ship and go travel around a given part of the world for a semester. And then you learn a lot about the locations that you go and a lot about world history and geography and politics and things like that. For me, it was an incredible experience, and I met a lot of lifelong friends, people who will be at my wedding, for example. And I would say actually one of my big learnings from that, it was more about realizing that you should follow or pursue the things that really make you excited. You had also mentioned travel being something that's very important for you. It's also very important for me, and also kind of being able to recognize where you've come from to keep that fire burning. And my example here is a friend of mine. I mean, she knew I wanted to travel, but I had not traveled yet. So she said, hey, I think this would be a really great thing you should do. You should try it out. You should look into it. I had one look and I was like, yes, this is for me. I'm sold. I found a way to get it funded, worked a lot, got a scholarship, things like this to make it more realistic for me. And I see that as like this huge turning point in my life of, okay, did the semester at sea and then actually just wanted to keep traveling. And now I live in Europe, right? I've met my fiance traveling. And so it's like, it was that one advice from my one friend, Chloe, that was just this like massive fork in the road because she gave me the encouragement, but I also wanted to follow it. So that would be my main takeaway from semester at sea, is to really follow what gets you excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, great. Well, Teri, where can listeners who like today's conversation want to know more about you and the work you're doing, where can they go to find out more about you?
They could go to LinkedIn, and then also our Facebook page for the club, Anytime Fitness Lake City MN, and the same for our Instagram.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, I hope a lot of people hit you up, and if they want some extra insider NPS tips, maybe they can, hit you up directly, and then you guys can have a one-to-one conversation. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Teri.
Thank
you so much. Yes. This has been another week of Fit Nations Lunch and Learn. We'll see you next time.